Okay, welcome back to SwansCast, everyone. So we are officially underway in the season. So didn't feel like that long, actually. We discussed it last time since we finished last year, especially being in the playoffs, and we had the Euros, a lot of football in the summer, even in the Olympics. And we're back underway now. After sometimes pre-season, I think it feels like pre-season lasts forever. But I feel like we hardly had a pre-season this year.
Yeah, I know, it was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there was
very
no,
weird.
No build-up to the season, totally felt like.
Bits of COVID and all that, cancelled games, and just all of a sudden, first match of the championship is done and dusted. How have you been feeling this week then, anyway? What have you been doing?
Oh, not much. Just rounding off the Olympics. Watched all the finals and enjoyed that.
I found the closing ceremony was a bit weird.
Oh, you couldn't watch it. I had to turn it off. I did try and watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I watched like 10 minutes and I was like, yeah, it's not
I didn't really get what was going on. I'm sure, though, there was so much work had gone into it and so much practice, and I'm sure there was all
alright, which I saw a bit of. That was good, to be fair. Don't know how they did it, but good special effects used there. Anyway, I've just come back from having a meal at the Hungry Horse. Had a massive burger, so feeling it right now. Feeling a bit sluggish, but yeah, it defeated me.
I'm back up to date on Love Island as well, so enjoying that.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, another week or so left, I think.
God, the sooner that ends, the better.
No, it's class.
Anyway, let's just get straight into the football then. So, we're going to try and keep a little bit of a format through these weekly podcasts, if you like. So, now we've got actually official games to discuss. Let's make a start on what we're going to be calling the verdict. So, looking at the results from last week, whatever games the Swans have played, and touching on other areas of the championship as well. So that's generally what we're going to be doing. But before we do make a start there, don't forget, if you are enjoying our content, to subscribe. Click the big red button on this channel to make sure you don't miss any of our videos, and click the bell icon as well. You get a notification then when we do upload. Really helps us grow. We need to get to 1,000 as soon as possible, because that just helps push the channel on basically more from there, and allows us to invest more and up our game even further, I guess, because we always want to try and make improvements. And don't forget to hit the like button as well, because again, that helps other people find the content a little bit easier. So yeah, and if you're listening to Spotify, I always refer to YouTube. Always I need to try and remember, it's not just watching, it's listening to anything we talk about. If we're looking at stuff, we'll always try and verbalize it the best we can for the people on Spotify. But you can find us on there as well. Just type in SwansCast podcast. Okay, so Swans' first game of the season was away at Blackburn. Russell Martin taking charge for his first match as the Swansea manager. So I think we expected different from what Steve Cooper brought to the table. Steve Cooper very successful in regards to his results. 6th place and a 4th place finish. Semi-final and a final in the playoffs. Russell Martin approaching it in a more modern classical Swansea approach, if you like, if that's a good term to use. Modern classical, promising to bring back the style of play the fans are crying out for. Yeah Enters into the first game away at Blackburn, and it's a 2-1 defeat. However, it's worth noting, when did he take over? Monday, was it? Monday?
Sunday.
So 5 days in the job. I believe when I listened to some of his interviews, 3 or 4 training sessions.
Yeah.
So let's just use that information as context when we are discussing the match. So I watched the match, well, most of it. You didn't watch it live, did you? You saw the highlights and stuff.
No, I was out watching the Lions.
Oh yeah, Lions as well.
Yeah, I was keeping tabs, and then I watched the longer highlights. Yeah, I know. Just the less said about that, the better, because it was a horrific game, really. Yeah.
So anyway, the football. So I thought the first half, I think you could immediately see that he's had an impact in terms of the style of play and the mentality of the players on the pitch and what they're trying to do. There's definitely a difference.
Yeah, I was surprised at how much of a difference it was so soon. You can see the commitment to playing out of the back no matter what, which I admire in all fairness, because it's got to be done. And like you said, 3 days or 3 training sessions, I think he said, or 4, whatever it was. So this is essentially our pre-season, where you would normally iron out those mistakes, and players would be getting used to the way they play football. But obviously, we're straight into the league game, so
yeah,
it was rusty, wasn't it? You could see it. It was just, but that's
it was
that's just the
rustiness.
time he's
Yeah, it was a bit nervous, I think, especially first half, especially the defence, I think, specifically. And I'm not slating them. I thought some of them had decent games, to be fair, but you could see some of them weren't as comfortable as what they will be in the future and what we need them to be to play this style and to be successful with this style. Stephen Bender included, although I thought he had a really good game, other than one howler, you've got to say. But, and we'll discuss it later on, regardless of the howler, he still maybe was man of the match, which is weird because you give away a penalty.
He made
but then make team of the week.
Yeah, he was in team of the weekend as well, wasn't he? And all fairness, so well. Says how well he played.
He made a lot of saves. He's definitely a good shot stopper. He did. When you look at his stats, and I'll dive into them in a minute. He had a good game, but watching it, because Blackburn did press us, whether they were switched on to the fact like this guy's going to try and do this passing football, which Swansea didn't necessarily do as much last year. He's just come in. They wouldn't have had time to practice, so they're going to be nervous, rusty. So let's get on them. Whether that was enforced tactically or they were going to do it anyway. I think they definitely did hurry us when we passed them around the back, and we got away with it sometimes. Other times we didn't, and we gave the ball away. We didn't get made to pay for that as much as we should have. The 2 goals we conceded basically were from us losing possession. So let's discuss the first one. So I can't remember exactly who got dispossessed. I believe he was up on Jake Bidwell's side. I think it was him, maybe Mac Rhymes doing some football.
Yeah, it was between them, yeah.
And they lose the ball. But they're trying to do the things that they've been asked to try and do. So we're not here to, kick off about them. And then it's just a counter-attack, really. And Blackburn are just direct from that point. And a couple of passes. And I think it comes in to Dolan, I think, the striker. And Bender makes a really good save, actually, from the initial shot. But it's rebounded literally into the centre of the box and out to the edge of the box, and it's basically Gallagher's running through, and it's pretty much an open goal. I think it's Dolan that carries on running into the net to make sure that Kyle Norton can't get across to clear it off the line. Smart play by him. But it was just frustrating a little bit, but we've got to just accept stuff like this at the moment. It will come a period of time where if we're still doing it, months down the line, maybe start asking more questions. But first game, I think it was.
The worrying thing is, for me, it's it's not really a worry at this stage, but having watched that Saturday, every team is going to press us now at the back.
Well, yeah,
they're going to have to learn. They're going to have to learn quickly.
Yeah, it's thrown in at deep end, and they're going to have to. I mean, some of the players should pick it up quicker than others, but then you look at the team. And when I say that, I mean some of them will have played under Potter and done quite similar things. But actually, when you look at the team, Mac Rhymes, Kyle Norton, probably the only 2 in that team.
I do worry about the defenders, the centre backs that we have trying to play.
Yeah, so I messaged you in the group about this, didn't I? I said, for me, there's definitely positive signs. The one area I'm worried about in terms of playing this style and where the players are less comfortable and probably more work needs to be done is the defenders, and it's a bit weird because Ben Cabango's come through our system and our youth tend to have always played that passing football. I think he'd be able to pick it up quite well, but I think we criticised him sometimes last year for being the first one to always kick the ball away rather than trying to find a player sometimes, which it can be a criticism, it can be a positive depending on the situation, but that's the sort of thing that he used to do quite often. So he needs to iron that out. Not that he did it, but obviously picking a pass, you can't always take your time. You've got to know where you're passing, you've got to know where your teammates are, and he's got to pick that up quick. Latipo did again, you'd think coming from Man City would be a little bit more comfortable. I think he, not just for his distribution, but I think out of the 3 of them, he was the weakest, definitely. But then he didn't play a full season last year, did he? So again,
but like Lathabode worries me a bit because we called him out on a few mistakes last year when he came into cup games.
And he got sent off in pre-season for something silly.
Yeah, and I thought like, we gave him the benefit of the doubt to him. We said, young games, get these mistakes out now in cup games and while he's young. But like you said, he got sent off in the pre-season friendly. He wasn't good on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely but I think going back to that, I think that. I think the lack of players in midfield forced him to play a back five when he might not play a back five with a full.
I would have agreed with you here, but I was doing a little bit of digging and some people talking about him, and I think he played back five with MK Dons.
I did, he?
I believe. I mean, that is the in thing these days. That's the in thing, is to do back five. Like even Man Save done it at times, haven't they? Doing this passing.
Yeah, but we just haven't got. I know we probably will bring in signings, but we haven't got cover centre back unless.
I think Cal Norton will go back there when we get this guy from Man United, this right back.
Yeah, hope so anyway, because we haven't really got many options.
He's quite highly thought of, and I believe he's quite attacking as well from wing back role. And I think Cal Norton having that, he's definitely got the experience of playing. He can play passing football and a bit of a cool head on him. I know Ryan Bennett have too, but I think Ryan Bennett is a bit more no nonsense, and he's at the stage of his career where this sounds harsh actually when I'm going to go through the stats with you in a second. Just from what I saw, I thought it didn't look like his natural game. I'm not saying he can't do it. I think he will be able to do it fine, but he's the sort of player that I think if you do charge at, he's not the quickest, and you could
there was one where he was caught in possession and he literally played a ball I don't even know he was looking for. You could see the panic. But like you said, he's played all his career not playing that sort of football. And he's not that type of player.
Yeah, and he's
it's like you can't teach an old dog new trick sort of thing.
But having said that, and I think this is important to mention, and Wales Online touched on this in their article, right? So the three defenders, Ryan Bennett, statistically in terms of playing his football, was the best. So 99 touches, 87 out of 94 passes accurate, 93%.
Oh, fair play. In all fairness to him.
I saw the most he attempted in any game last year was like 70 something, and that was rare to get that high. And he would never get anywhere near 93% in terms of the accuracy. So I mean, fair play there. That's an instant impact, and that's where I think Martin deserves a bit of credit, because 3 training sessions with the team, and you're getting them out of that sort of stuff. As much as the result was bad, right, and there's a lot of other negatives to look at in terms of the shots and stuff, which we will. When he's only been here for a short amount of time, we've got to look at what he has actually managed to change, and I think that's a massive thing to introduce and having the players in such a short notice, and I think that's a positive when he starts looking at these other areas and drilling the system in and ironing the issues out. That's a good thing to look at. The other two, I think Bennett was in the middle of the threes. That's probably why he's the highest in regards to passes. Lathabode had 63 out of 78, which is 81% accuracy, 93 touches. Looks like he's taking more touches per pass maybe, but Cabango 71 touches, 86% accuracies with 56 out of 65 passes. So again, I said I think Cabango's one of them that
Yeah, he did. In all fairness to Cabango, he played one lovely ball to Cullen for that chance.
One key pass, one big chance created, the one for Cullen.
That was a lovely ball. In all fairness to him,
probably should have scored that, but that's just a quick look at the defence. Let's bring Bender into it as well, because we did discuss Bender.
On the defenders though, just quickly, it's not always on them as well. So you say about defenders being able to pass up from the back, you've got to have options in front of you, and it seemed to me that only Grimes comes deep. So as soon as you had 2 players on him, where do you go? You've got the other players in front of him have got to make options, and the wing backs have got to make options for them to get that ball out quickly. So that's something they're going to have to get used to as well.
Yeah, no, for me, Matt Grimes I thought was really good. I thought he looked very interested, which I was a bit surprised at, because I thought his head was going to be somewhere else. Well, it still might be, but you can't say he didn't put in a committed performance, because I think he did. I have seen a bit of criticism about him. People saying, again, he wasn't distributing well enough, or whatever. I really disagree. 90 touches, 89% passing accuracy from being that one that's responsible for getting us going. That's a good 89%. You wouldn't get them. They were getting 60% in midfield last year.
Yeah,
we discussed it quite regular.
Yeah, you can't knock him either. There was that one where they caught us on the break, and he was back on his own with a 2-on-1 and defended it out. So, yeah, I couldn't question him at all. To be fair, I was surprised he played. So I was glad to see him starting. To be fair, because I wasn't expecting him to play, and then he did play well as well. So, in all fairness, maybe is there the door open maybe just slightly that he's going to stay?
Yeah,
but,
and he did lose possession 14 times, but the whole team was guilty of losing possession. But that, again, I'm not going to go in too much on that sort of detail today, because I think while they're getting introduced to this new game, they're going to lose possession a bit until...
Oh, yeah.
It always happens with this style of football. The manager addressed it in his conferences. He said, like, if they lose possession doing the things I'm asking them to do, then I'm not going to criticise them. Yeah. Because he needs them to have the confidence to do it. And as soon as you start criticising them, they don't have the confidence and they do it more.
Yeah, it was a similar sort of thing, though. You go back to when Brendan Rodgers decided to play that football in the Premiership, and it was working. And Rangel gave that ball away against Man United when we first went up to me and we lost 1-0 because of a mistake playing at the back. And Brendan Rodgers said, well, this is fine, because that's what I want him to do. That's the way I want us to play. So you've got to persevere. It would have been easy to sort of say, 4 or 5 games down the line for him to say, we're going to have to change it.
You're right. I think Pablo Hernandez as well. Like, I loved him, you loved him as a player, but I think one of the criticisms everyone had of him was he lost the ball a lot, as much as he created a chance. And I always said, but he's like, it's because he's trying to get something going, and half the time it's not going to work, and the other half the time it is. But then when you look at the stats, it's like, he's lost the ball all these times. So it's like, got to look at the context of it, really. Anyway, that's Grimes. I thought he had a good game. We'll see if he's still here in the next couple of weeks. It looked like there's a chance he could stay, and it's not as much as a done deal we thought it was when we talked about it in the video. Yeah. But he did get COVID. He was out because of that and a small injury. How much of a difference that's had. And I have heard Fulham are selling a player in his position, or expected to sell a player in his position. So maybe we'll really see what's happening if that goes through.
Yeah.
But I think you can't argue with what... Maybe the fees that were quoted aren't quite accurate, because like Martin did make a point of saying, they will make sure they get the best for him. But we'll wait and see. We can't talk about something that's not happened. Anyway, back to Bender, because the second goal was his fault. So we went 2-0 down. I believe was the second half they scored? No, just after half time.
It was second half, yeah.
Yeah, just after half time. Again, it was just playing out from the back. They were in the defenders had the ball. They passed it back to the goalkeeper. He's getting charged. He tries taking a touch too many. Essentially, he was a bit heavy, and loses possession to, I'm not sure which player it was for Blackburn that managed to gain the possession there. And I think, it's his first league start really, or the first chance he's probably had of being number one keeper. And I think he got a bit like, oh shit, I've made a mistake. I need to try and rectify it. And he stuck his leg out and brought the player down. It is what it is. He's young. He'll learn from that. Same, and Whitman did stuff that we would say the same for. So, I do feel a bit sorry for him, because he had a good game other than that. Anyway, he got close to saving it. He didn't actually save it, but he got as close as you could get. It was a good penalty. So we go 2-0 down. But other than that, again, 80 touches of the ball. More touches, I believe, than Woodman had all season. I think one game he got more than that, and that was against Cardiff.
Oh, bloody hell.
So shows straight away 86% passing accuracy for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And we spent a long time, or people did last year, criticising Woodman's distribution. So, pardon me, excuse me, sorry. So 86% I think is that's good for his proper first team game in the league. Pressure of new system, new style of play. I think it's positives for Stephen Bender. And you did mention already he was in the Championship Team of the Week as well.
Yeah, fair play to him. No real negatives on him, to be fair. I thought he played well first. Well, he did have one game last season, I think, when Woodman was injured, but First start in the league, playing a different style of football. I thought you could good on him, in all fairness. Good decision. I'm happy he played him as well instead of Hamer.
Well, Hamer has COVID.
Oh, well, definitely glad he played him instead of Hamer.
He made 8 saves, 5 of which were from inside the box.
So fair enough.
Says it all, really. That's a good introduction to the team. Anyway, we did get one back, so we went up the other end not so long after this, actually, 52nd minute. And Jamie Patterson, who I think was here for like a day, and he started.
Yeah, he signed on the Friday, didn't he? And then he was straight in on Saturday.
Yeah, so he had actually a good game. He looked quite lively, looked involved, and not afraid to have a shot as well from outside the box, which is about this. Maybe he was on the edge of the box, just in a D, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some good football, and it's played into him. And he, to be fair, the Blackburn keeper should save that. It literally goes straight where he was standing. It curled, it did, so he curled the ball. But I think the keeper thought it wasn't curling, and he was going to the corner. So the keeper sort of like jumps to that direction, but then it curls into literally where he was standing in the first place. So you could argue he got a bit lucky, but it doesn't matter how they go in and went in. Took the shot on, and he's got the rewards. But yeah, it was a good goal.
Good start for him straight in. Does it say a lot that he's put him straight into the squad over the other midfield options that we do have? But he said like he sort of knew what he was about, didn't he? And
I think him and Jamal Lowe were kind of rotating in the left striker and behind the striker role.
Yeah.
So Liam Cullen, I think first half Patterson was quite wide, and then he came infield second half. He was playing behind them. Then Jamal Lowe went up there, but they were kind of all rotating, so it's hard to say exactly where they were all playing. But yeah, maybe it's because though we didn't have much cover in the centre midfielders, because like Jan Dander did come on for Corey Smith in the centre midfield area, and then who else is there? Ollie Cooper.
Yeah,
Piroe didn't make the bench.
That one. I don't know if I want to talk about it now. That one worried me a bit. What he said afterwards, Martin. He said something like, "I don't think he was injured." From what he was saying in his post-match.
Yeah, he said he needed to pick the best team to fit the circumstances of the match, and Piroe understands that, and he'll have a chance to show what he can do against Reading.
Well, that's that's a bit worrying.
Right,
is he not fit?
The rumour. Have you heard the rumour?
No, what's the rumour?
So I'm saying rumour because, as far as I'm concerned, it's not officially confirmed. People might say in the comments, like, oh no, it definitely happened. I haven't seen any official confirmation of it, so as far as we're aware, it's a rumour. But he was out on the lash in Cardiff and broke COVID rules, which is apparently why he wasn't in a match day team. But he has confirmed.
Okay.
Russell Martin did confirm that he will feature against Reading. So.
Okay. Oh well, never mind. That's just that's a one-off then, because I thought he clearly doesn't think a lot of him if he's not picked him for the first game of the season. Our £1 million signing, but yeah, if it's a disciplinary thing, it's not so bad.
The manager, it could be another one of them where he doesn't want him. Who knows?
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Piroe. Hopefully, we get to see some more of him and we can actually see what he's about. But anyway, good signing. I think Patterson is a free transfer, so we can't complain. Immediate impact. If he's gonna give us that sort of performance that he gave today, then he'll have a decent amount of goals this season, and he'll do well. So I'm happy to see him, and I think the second half in general, especially after we scored, we did start up in our game. We started keeping the ball a bit better. We got more confident with the style of play. Easy to say that when you are trailing. Maybe Blackburn were sitting off a bit more. They were still pressing and trying to get opportunities on the break, and they still did have opportunities on the break, especially as we tried pushing up more to get an equaliser. Like you said, there was times where Grimes had to run back, be the only one or the last man, and I think they bottled a 2-on-1, which the guy only needed to pass it and he goes for a shot and it goes just wide of the post and Bender got a fingertip to it, to be fair. So we probably should have lost by more. I think it's fair to say that, but we did improve as the game went along, is what I'm saying here. So looking at the overall statistics of the game, it's not pretty for the Swans, I'll be honest. 72% possession. I can't remember the last time I saw a number like that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And that's what I mean about the fact that he's managed to have that sort of immediate impact is surely a promising sign.
Yeah, definitely. To turn that around in 3 days.
Yeah. But, and as we've had people mention in the comments, it is not all about the possession. That is fair comment, and that is true. Blackburn had 21 shots against our 7. So that is a big difference. Now, it looks worse than I think it is in terms of our defending. And what I mean by this, and Wales Online did pick up on this as well, a lot of the shots that Blackburn had were immediately after we lost possession in our own half. So it's not like they've created the opportunity, they're taking advantage of this transition period, if you like. The rustiness, the stuff we discussed earlier. And I think Bender, 6 of his saves were made 10 seconds after we lost the ball. Or within 10 seconds. So that's just 6 of his saves. So they had more shots than that after winning possession. Quickly. So they'll win the ball, play it a couple of times and have a shot. That's what their game plan was. It worked for them. Fair play, well done, fair enough. But that's stuff obviously that Russell Martin does need to address, does need to look at, work on and iron out, and I'm sure that will happen the longer that we hear. Other than that then, so I don't really know where else to look at the stats. It's all in Blackburn's favour. They had 6 big chances, missed 4 of them. That's what I mean by we should have lost by more.
Yeah, but in all fairness, like we said, with major rustiness, especially in the first half, we gave more away. We could have been 4-0 down at half time, realistically. Yeah. But then also, as we grew into the game second half, we could have got a point. Because Cullen had another good chance in the second half at 2-1.
Well, it's the result that matters at the end, isn't it? That's all.
No, I know, but I mean, it is positive signs. I saw a lot of people saying they've never felt positive about losing a game. But for me as well, it was a definite sign.
Oh, no, it's quite exciting, actually. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just saying it's quite exciting to see that he's managed to do that in a short space of time. If he can get some players in, bed them in. If Grimes could stay, that would be brilliant. But I don't think he will. But if he gets some players in, which it looks like there are a few coming in, and get this embedded into the thing, I think we could do some damage. It's going to be an up and down season, though. We're going to see games like that, like we had on Saturday, probably more often than not. But I think, all positive in what I saw on Saturday anyway, and quite happy with it.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm quite happy. I do agree with you. I think we did well. I think well for after what's happened. Quick turnaround. We could have lost by more, but we didn't. And like you said, at the end of the day, 90th minute, it's still only 2-1. So Blackburn missed the chances. That's their problem. We could have got a point, and then that would have been something to build on. Looking at a little bit more detail because of stuff that's been commented on our past videos. We really appreciate everyone's opinion, and we love having comments, love engaging with the discussion. But I just want to talk about it as a talking point briefly, just something to address, I guess. So possession. It's not all about possession. In terms of Russell Martin, some people are not necessarily fully on board with him coming in, fully behind him, like his style of play, whatever. That's fine. You're all entitled to your own opinions. But in terms of the criticisms or where the concerns come from, like his win rate, for example, at MK Dons, okay? So he took over the job at MK Dons. They've just got promoted from League 2 after yo-yoing a bit. He's taken over the job, stepping up from being a player. I think it was about a couple of months into the season. They've just come up, so they're probably one of the favourites for relegation. He gets them to a 19th place finish, okay? That's quite fair enough. In your first season, any league you get promoted to, you take it. And then his second season, his first full season as a manager, he gets him to 13th. So clear progression, 6 places above. They're playing this style of football in League 1, which isn't very often done. People think it can't be done. I think that deserves a bit of credit. I don't think you can always judge managers by win rate. You've got to look at what the club they're at and where they are. That's just like saying, for example, who stayed up in the Premier League last season? That was probably a good season for them. Southampton, for example. Yeah. Do you say that the manager should get sacked because his win rate wasn't decent, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it?
Coventry, who came up to the Championship last season, is their manager bad because the win rate is not great because they finished near the bottom, but then Coventry are happy to stay in the league. So
yeah, it's just managing expectations, and it's not relevant to where you are in the league.
And then,
what sort of side you've got, what sort of position you're in, is all relevant,
Yeah, exactly. Pushing on from that in terms of the goal situation, because that was one of the criticisms. This style of play is just passing around for the sake of it. Doesn't win games, doesn't score goals. Saturday, Swansea lost the game. Yeah, we got battered. We didn't score the goals. We didn't have shots. In terms of I say battered, we got battered with the shot statistics, 21-7. I believe last season at Steve Cooper, that was quite a similar theme. We were always having less shots than the opposition. People were saying we're not creative enough, we're not scoring enough goals. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of games we were having like 7 shots, maybe none on target. I think second half of the season especially. And let's also bear in mind we had Andre Ayew. I know we don't have him now. I know we're not going to have him, and I know we've got to adjust to that. But he was there last year, and that's what we're comparing it against. So last year, our XG for our goals scored was 1.18. Sorry, 1.15. So not even as good as that. And MK Dons was 1.44. So his style of football, different league, different players, but they were scoring more goals than what we did last year. And if that's what we were comparing it to, then I'm not really sure where the point is, to be honest. But we'll have to see what happens. Just back the manager. If by Christmas we're still having the same sort of issues, for example, I'm sure we'd be calling him out by then. But we've got to give it a bit of time.
Yeah, I know, true. But how many people last season said they didn't want Cooper in charge, and they'd take having possession and playing better football and losing games?
Yeah.
Than watching Cooper start. So we'll soon see if.
We'll see.
We'll soon see if that's true.
If we're finishing around mid-table and people are like kicking off, we're not doing better. We'll see if because last season they were saying they would take the style over the results. I know everyone's got different opinions, and you might not agree with what we're saying, and we completely respect that. That's fine. Obviously, sometimes it's hard to discuss in the comments. So I just wanted to sort of answer the points in the video, talk about some of the stats behind it, and that's just where we're coming from. If you disagree, fair enough. Each to their own. Everyone's got their own views on football, and that's completely fine. And that's why we enjoy it, isn't it? That's why we do the podcast and love hearing everyone's opinions. But I think there's definitely positives to come, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens really going forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's most of the stuff touched on from that game. Anything else that we've missed that you can think of?
No, not really. I think we've covered it. It's mainly just it's all going to be about the playing style at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. I was quite happy with it. So,
any surprises for you with the team selection?
Grimes was the big one because I had no idea he was going to start. Patterson going straight in after signing on Friday. I thought he might have been on the bench. I was surprised he didn't maybe play Dander. Just because he's been there all pre-season.
I wonder how Dander feels about that, because he's probably like it's make or break, and he didn't even start when we haven't got a team, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've already made my feelings known about Dander. I keep wanting him to prove me wrong. But again, he came on and he left one ball go in midfield, which led to their counter-attack. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I'm not like jumping on his back again. But
I think he was just like average without doing nothing great, nothing terrible. Again, just he had one run that I can recall that ended in us getting a free kick as well. So just mediocre performance as what we've come to expect from him, I guess. I noticed Brandon Cooper was on the bench. That's a positive, I think. Maybe Latabodia will be looking over his shoulder.
I think so.
I think
Definitely.
He deserves a chance. Nicholas de Fritius Hansen. I don't know who he is, I'll be honest. I don't think we saw him in pre-season, did we?
I know, I didn't recognise the name when he was on the bench.
Lincoln McFadden, I think he did feature in pre-season, but again, I'm not that familiar with him.
Oh, I know signings are going to come in, but that bench was so worrying, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ollie Cooper, I would like to see more of him this season. I kind of wish he came on in this game, but Morgan Whittaker again only managed to get like 5 minutes, and we sort of said Dander and Kyle Joseph didn't get on the pitch, but I think Whittaker, Joseph, Dander, I would expect to see him for Reading, but we'll discuss that in a bit. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't say, but Fulton is out suspended for 3 games, and
he'd be a big addition when he comes back in, just to. Because I think he's alright with the ball at his feet as well, Fulton.
Well,
so I think
said about it being a flair last year, didn't we? He had a bit of flair in him, so.
Yeah, so I think he'd be great when he comes back in to hold that ball in midfield.
Yeah, and the other one was Liam Walsh, who's injured, which we said that the key was keeping him fit. He's got a good player in him. Bad injury record in the past, and we start the season and he's injured.
I think Corey Smith is injured as well, and he went off.
Yeah, he went off with an injury, so I'm not. They didn't have any.
Can't afford to lose him as well.
Yeah, they didn't have any sort of time scale on what that is looking like. Hopefully, Manning will be back as well because he was out with COVID.
It's going to take. Like we said, this is our pre-season now. In the first probably 3, 4, 5, 6 games even of the season, where players are still coming and going, and the manager's only just taken over. So yeah, I don't think the season's really going to kick off for us until about 6 games in.
Yeah, and there is 2 players it looks like Swans might be in for, but we'll discuss that a bit later on. Let's move on to the rest of the Championship. Some interesting results, actually, to be fair. I thought...
Yeah, there was some prizes around, wasn't it?
I mean, we got our league table. We discussed it in our last video. And I think you picked out Luton to have a surprisingly good season. I said I think Hull would have the best season out of the promoted teams. And out of the relegated teams, we thought they were going to be just head and shoulders above the rest. But when we actually look at the results, Hull atop the table, Luton the second. I know it's one match. But Hull smashed Preston. I think I also said I think Preston are going to struggle. I'm just going to
you did say Preston are going to struggle. That was a surprise one, wasn't it?
So they lost 4-1, and it looks like they literally got battered when you look at the Sophie score.
That's a poor result, though, isn't it, at home against a promoted team? Poor. That's a bad result first game of the season.
Yeah, people in our comments saying that it's bad that we only had 8 shots or whatever it was against 7-8 shots against Blackburn away. Well, Preston had 7 shots against Hull at home, and they had 16.
Oh, that's poor, that is. I know, but like this is what there's always a reason to moan, isn't it? Oh, we only had 7 shots. We only had 3 shots on target. We only had this much possession. Watch the game. Sometimes the stats don't reflect the game, do they?
No.
So that's a bit annoying. But yeah, like you said, it could be worse because that was probably the worst result of the weekend, I think.
Yeah, I'm just putting it into context, and if ever cliche is used with this league, anyone could beat anyone. I just don't think when people say we haven't lost to Blackburn in 6 years. Just put an asterisk there. 3 of them years we were in the Prem, and they were in the Championship.
But we haven't beaten Blackburn away. For
ages.
So many ages. Yeah, but it was in the 70s or something, I think they said. Yeah,
and referring to them as a poor mid-table team or whatever. We're not entitled to beat anyone. We've got to earn that victory. So whatever you think of Blackburn as a team, doesn't matter. If we don't turn up on a day or we can't do it, then we don't do it. I would even argue Blackburn's a bigger club than us. So I don't know where that perception of us being
Yeah, but we said about managing expectations. Blackburn are a mid-table team. Realistically, that's where we are going to be this season.
Yeah, but historically, if that's what people want to say, the last 6 years, historically, Blackburn are a much bigger club than us. Fair?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think so. Yeah.
We've moved on from Swans Blackburn. That was just I remember that was another part of the comments from. No, it's my fault. I brought it up. So yeah, Hull, good result for them. Preston, I think, need to get some players in. They didn't replace the defender. Was it the one that went to Liverpool?
Ben Davis.
And they're trying to get rid of him again now. He's not even played a game for them. Bit of a weird signing that.
That was the standout result, along with Sheffield United. I think losing at home was a bit of a.
Yeah, so Sheffield losing to Birmingham. Birmingham could be.
Yeah, watch a bit of that. Birmingham played well. They had more chances as well. They did sort of sit back, and Sheffield United were coming at them then later on in the game. But they did have a couple of other chances. They did miss one sitter as well to make it 2-0. Birmingham looked alright, so maybe. I know it's early doors. I saw a thing on TalkSport which was quite funny. It was on the Saturday morning. It was let us know your thoughts. You're all everyone's in the playoff race, everyone's in the promotion race, and then they were we got another segment tomorrow on the Sunday where it was you can phone in and tell us that your season is over already. No, it's early doors, isn't it? But impressed with Birmingham.
Yeah, interesting. And McBurney and Brewster both came off the bench.
Yeah. With them to play next week.
I mean, Ryan Woods is playing for Birmingham now.
Is he at Birmingham now, is he?
Yeah. It's crazy because he was this when he was at Brentford and we were interested in him 3 years ago. He was amazing in the Championship. He was this highly thought of midfielder, and he's had 3 clubs since. He's been where was it? Millwall with
Millwall, yeah.
And now Rowett's still at Millwall and he's let him go. So I thought they'd love
ever since that transfer fell through, he was close to coming to us. He's just fallen off the radar. Yeah.
I think he's been good under Potter as well, and he'd probably be good in our setup now. So, shame that we didn't get a manager sorted earlier in the pre-season, because if he was available again, and I believe he was either a loan or a very low fee or cheap, free even.
Yeah,
I would have taken him because we are a bit thin, especially if Grimes goes. Anyway, that's another good result there for Birmingham, so well done to them. Luton as well, you mentioned. I think they won 3-0 against newly promoted Peterborough, who I did have suspicions might struggle. Early days, of course.
We both put them low down, didn't we? But yeah, like you said, he's got plenty of time to go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Well, another standout result was the Stoke game against Reading. It was 3-2. That was a cracker. Surridge scored, didn't he, the winner? On his debut, come off the bench and scored the winner.
I think Bournemouth didn't really give him the chance that he needed to get a run of games together. But when I'm worried about Solanke, then maybe...
Yeah. I'm worried about it's littered again now, the Championship, with former players near that I can never say his name. Gyökeres, whatever you say his name. Scored for Coventry.
Didn't he? Yeah. They beat Forest 2-1, which that's a good result for them. They're back in their stadium now.
Back of the Rico, yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit of a buzz, especially with fans. So well done to Coventry. Nice to see things on the up there as well. But yeah, Gyökeres.
How good was it watching games with fans in the stadium, though?
Yeah. Can't wait to get to the first one myself. I might see if there's tickets available for first home game, but maybe we'll see. The other ones I wanted to touch on, everyone bigging up all these teams relegated. Well, West Brom, I think arguably the best result of the 3 of them. We already touched on Sheffield, the fact that they lost. Bournemouth is not it's not an easy game. So going away to Bournemouth and 2-2 draw, first game of the season that was on Friday night. Both teams I think would be happy. Bournemouth maybe want to win the home game because it was the first game of the season. I think they'll take it. It does though look like West Brom definitely had the better chances. They
good game it was.
Bournemouth had more the ball. West Brom more the chances. Classic, I guess, with the style of play. But they 2-2. Nice way to open the Championship up there.
Good game it was. I enjoyed that. Dan Juma wasn't playing for Bournemouth, is he?
Oh, maybe he's going.
Apparently they said he had a knock, but
so they always say at this time of year when they're not on the team, innit?
Yeah, I know. But I think that could be a key for them. Like we put him at the top, didn't we? So I think that would be a massive swing if he doesn't stay.
Yeah. I didn't realise Kenneth Zahor was still at West Brom, but he's back in the squad now. He came off the bench. The other two things that stand out for me here, Marcondes, who Bournemouth signed from Brentford, scoring the first goal. And the second thing was Alex Mowat, who has come with Ishmael to West Brom, getting the assist for the second goal. So it'll be interesting to see if he can implement that style of play that he had at Barnsley, because he was kind of all new. He was at a club that wasn't expected to do much. Everyone was a bit surprised by him. You had that element of surprise, like, oh my god, Barnsley doing bits, like they're playing this football that's new, and how do you counter it? But now you're doing it at a club like West Brom. Everyone already thinks you're one of the best. Is it going to work the same way? Like, teams will set up different just because it's West Brom.
Different mindset.
So can he do it again? If he can, fair play. Obviously, I think he's going to have a good career. But that's, like I said, it's the best result of the 3 for me in terms of...
I think Fulham getting a draw at home against Middlesbrough, we said.
That's poor.
Touching on the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Middlesbrough are going to be a hard side to beat this year.
I think they're going to be but I was listening to Ben Boom, who was doing a live watch along of this game. And Middlesbrough was shocking for most of it. They weren't in the game at all. They were not in the game. And then a Warnock Classic, I guess, they stuck in it, kept it at 1-0, kept Mitrovic quiet until the end and got a goal in the 77th minute. literally, Warnock were making weird subs. He was taking his strikers off. There's all midfielders on. Then he put another striker on. I think he might have scored, actually, in the end. But, yeah, like Harry Wilson started.
Scored on his debut, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, watch his space. But that's what Middlesbrough are going to do to everyone. They just sit in and make it hard. You know what they're going to do with Warnock Classic. But,
yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah. So 16 shots to Fulham, 7 to Middlesbrough, 1 on target.
Oh, that's killer, that is. That's killer. I hate that. That makes my blood boil. It wasn't even us.
The one shot on target goes in like
and
it's the equaliser as well. But yeah, so an interesting week all round in the Championship. Not really seen all of the goals or a lot of the goals to say any standouts, but did you see anything that caught your eye?
Harry Wilson's goal was quite good, to be fair. Come in on his left, that was quite a good strike. That was good. Apart from that, no real standouts, I don't think. No, that Bournemouth game against West Brom was a good game, though. I really enjoyed it. Like, you could see the two quality sides there are going to be up there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, I think. And Luton, I was glad they got off the mark. I think they're going to have a good season.
Excited now, ready to sort of carry on.
We've had a taste now. We've had a little taster now. It's heating up again now, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're going to move forward now. We got Reading in the Cup on Tuesday evening away at Reading. We're gonna move on to like word on the street or other news. So the section where we'll talk about basically other stuff going on, mainly Swans related or football related or anything that's like big news that we want to discuss. So we'll probably touch on a little bit, just mention maybe some transfer news, that sort of stuff. If you've got any ideas for a name for this section, feel free to leave them in the comments, because we've been trying to rack our brains. And I think what we didn't come up with much, but maybe we came up with like a word in the town or something, word around the town, or news in the town, something like that. But
word on Wine Street.
Yeah. Word on Wine Street. Yeah, maybe we should call it that. And then after that, we'll move on to looking ahead to the next games. So, any news that you've caught your eye? The stadium deal, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, well, funny enough, that happened today, didn't it? The stadium deal, the Swansea.com stadium.
Yeah.
I know. It is money. You can't turn it down. It's a good deal. It's money. It's bringing money into the club. You can't turn it down. But it's just like Swansea.com stadium. It just sounds a bit crap. It's a bit of a laugh, really, isn't it?
Sounds crap, but I'm not that bothered about it.
I'm not that bothered about it. I'm not that upset about it.
No, but I know a lot of people have been kicking off because that's what they like to do.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, but you know what it's like sometimes. It's just if there's an excuse to kick off, let's kick off.
Yeah.
When I say like it sounds a bit rubbish, I actually don't care that much, to be honest.
Just keep calling it the Liberty, innit? It's
everyone's going to call it the Lib.
We need money, and they've sold the name of the stadium for a decent amount of money, from what I've heard. I haven't got any accurate sources, but I've heard it's a 7-figure fee a year. So that's like, even if it was £1 million a year, just to name the stadium, but take it all day long.
Take that.
I think part of the issue is, the name, like what you said. That's why people are like, it sounds a bit crap. It's like the Sports Direct Arena, innit, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as bad as that, because as much as it's Swansea.com, it's a website. It's celebrating, you're promoting like the city, and local stuff, and it's not like it's not like it's the Americans shop. Like
I will say, I will say in all fairness, like compared to other clubs, you've got like Swansea Uni as the shirt sponsor, and it now be a Swansea based business that sponsors the stadium. It's quite good, to be fair.
Yeah, and they got a stand.
Like you said, you could have. Yeah, you could have. Like you said, you could have you could have any name for the stadium these days. You said like the Sports Direct Arena
Stadium.
Yeah, but but everyone still says the Britannia, don't they, and the St James's Park.
Say the Liberty, won't we? I think.
I liked it at the start. Right. They were going to call it White Rock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. I think people that are kicking off by this deal forget that the name of Liberty Stadium came from a sponsorship deal itself.
Yeah.
Liberty Trading or something, was it? Liberty Building, something like that. But that's where that name came from in the first place. Yeah, we like it. Sounds a bit better. But that was from a sponsorship deal. I think it ran out in the end, and we just kept the name because we did. But whatever, we'll still call it the Liberty, but it's the Swansea.com stadium. Getting decent amount of money. I think the other concern was the fact that maybe Martin Morgan was behind the company.
Well,
but he's just giving the money.
Is he creeping back in? Is he creeping his way back in?
It's a bit of sponsorship money in there. Like, if there's no more involvement than that, then whatever. Yeah. It's help. It's money that we didn't have before, so hopefully it helps. Maybe a player doesn't get sold as a result.
I wish. I did like it when they were going to call it the White Rock, didn't they? But suspicious name, I think. And then they changed it then, didn't they? And when it first opened, it was the new stadium, Swansea.
Was it?
Yeah, that was what it was called when it opened.
Well,
I know that. I think people weren't happy with White Rock because it sounds like someone else. But
wasn't like the area is called White Rock or something.
Yeah, the Copper Works when they in the area were White Rock Copper Works, when they I think was the story.
The name comes from somewhere in the area, doesn't it? It's definitely a link.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Copper Works there where like the Park and Ride is now.
Yeah,
that'd have been class though.
And now they're making a. It's not rum, is it? It's whiskey distillery. Penderyn. They are changing the copper building into like a museum and distillery. So nice little bit of work going on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of extra news then. We talked about some new signings. We got Ethan Layard. I don't know how to say his name.
Laird, I think.
Laird. BBC are reporting that we are in talks to sign the right back on loan. I think this is very plausible. Probably is going to happen this week. He played for Russell Martin at MK Dons last season. I think was very highly rated in League One. Had a very good year there. I think definitely ready for the step up to the Championship. So that's one to look out for. I believe right back by trade, can play left back. But for me, I think it's just competition for Connor Roberts.
Yep.
And exactly what we need. Slots into centre back if they're going to continue with this formation. Does he? I don't know. It's going to be hard if Robert stays and this guy has a really good start to the season when he comes. It's going to be difficult to see Roberts not getting in the team, and I would be about that.
I'd be interested. I was going to say if like you said, he's playing with the back five, but I was thinking if he was playing a back four, so I could be wrong. But I would probably push Connor Roberts forward if he was a back four. With his style of football might suit him.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
But like you said, if he comes in and plays well, he could go on the left. If he comes in and plays well, though, Connor Roberts will be looking over his shoulder when he comes back to full fitness.
Because if they both class on the right and Bidwell and Manning haven't really put their hands
up.
Yeah. Anyway, the other one is we're also, and BBC mentioned at the end of this article, which again says a little bit of a reputable source for me, close to completing the permanent signing of Ipswich Town midfielder Flynn Downes. So he's a centre midfielder. I believe he does quite a similar role to what Matt Grimes would do, but has a little bit more J-Felton grit to him as well. That's what I've been told. So I reached out actually and asked Ben Bloom about him because he's an Ipswich fan. He said he was quality for him, not last season, year before. Got linked with a move away last year, never happened, but his head basically dropped and hasn't been the same since. Basically, he needs to leave the club because he's not playing at his potential. He's definitely got more in him than what he's showing. He has been linked to Premier League clubs in the last few windows as well. So it could be a decent signing, but then what does that say for Matt Grimes?
Well, like you said, like Fulham, you said Fulham are selling a player in that position and we're bringing a player in that position, then it seems like the writing's on the wall there, doesn't it? But we'll see. Who knows? I just think if they could keep Grimes, which is unlikely, so I won't get too excited. If they could keep Grimes and bring him in, and have Fulton and the right back coming in, led from Man United on loan, then it could be it could be a good window in the end, considering how bad our pre-season was looking.
Yeah, and the assistant manager now that Martin's brought in has also worked with Downes at Ipswich, so another link there. The last thing I want to touch on is Joel Piroe, who was left out of the Swansea squad, was actually training with his dad after being left out of the Swansea squad.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. So I'm not sure the details. I think it looks like it might be because he might have been self-isolating. But then I don't know whether the reason he's self-isolating is what I discussed earlier in regards to that rumour.
Oh, it's not a good start for him anyway, is it?
No. And you don't
if that is
regardless
true.
of this, like what the reasons are behind this, it's not the sort of story you want. You've just been left out of the squad. I know you've got people writing articles saying that you were there's picture exclusive of him training with his dad on the beach, like. It's just not what you want, is it? It's not what you want to. You don't want them headlines.
Let's see. It'll be interesting to see now if he starts in any of the next couple of games.
It might mean nothing, but it's just it's not great. Okay, let's look ahead. We've got 2 games to talk about. I think maybe we'll just say about what we're expecting to see from them, and maybe look at the teams, because again, I think it's hard to talk in details about stuff at this early stage.
Yeah.
So we've got Reading in the cup. Tuesday night, 8 o'clock away.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if people probably disagree, because people usually rotate for their cup game, don't they, to get some players game time. But for me, with the situation that we're in, I would be playing the team that's going to play Saturday against Sheffield United. They've had pre-season, so they've had a long break now. We didn't have any players really, apart from like Cabango and Roberts in the Euros, did we? So I would be playing the same team as Saturday if that's going to be the team for this, because you just need that consistency now. They played it Saturday. They got the mistakes under their belt. They need another game. They need another game. They need another game. So I would be to at least play the same defence and goalkeeper, just so they can still play that style of football again and get it sort of locked in, really. So I'd be playing the same team.
Do you think he will
for the 3 games? No, there will be changes, but I don't think, maybe not many. I think, like you said, maybe maybe like Danda will start, and maybe Piroe if he's fit. But apart from that, I would.
I don't know. I think he's going to make a couple from what he was saying in his conference.
No, I did hint on changes, did he? But yeah, but I would, like I said, this is just what I think. This is what I would want him to do.
Yeah.
Because I think we've only got. Am I right in saying we've got Sheffield United and then Stoke on the Tuesday night? And is there one more game, or is that the international break then?
It is quite a congested period, I think.
So I think, maximum maybe one more game and then the international break.
Stoke
I'd
and
be
then
tempted
Bristol
to.
City.
I said Bristol City on the Friday night, and then
the week after.
What, before the international break?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because usually it's like you only get like a couple of games new before the international break.
So, Preston's on the 28th, and then the international break is that weekend. Well, the week. And then
so maybe he can make changes in this game, but I just want to see. I'd just be tempted to play a similar team that's going to play the next.
I do get what you're saying, but then you've got to look at it from the other point of view, I think, where he's just come in and he's just picked a team kind of blind. Not blind.
Yeah.
Like last season, he doesn't know if that's his first team yet. It probably is, because he hasn't got much to pick from, but he doesn't know that's his first team. And you've got to give everyone a chance to show they can do it in the game situation, because seeing it in training and seeing it on a pitch on a match day is different. So I think others do deserve a chance. Cup is definitely somewhere you can do it. It's a hard game to do it then as Sheffield. Like Sheffield United is going to be tough to do like different teams. So this is the one where you want to do it. Maybe you want to then look at these 2 games to pick your team for Sheffield. I wouldn't say it's going to be loads of changes, because I don't think there's enough. There's not loads of people that you would probably need to give a run out. But I think he does need to, because he didn't have a pre-season, did he? So he didn't have any games to see these guys and what they can do and what they can offer. So I think he will use this as an opportunity to do that. So I just think, maybe you're right with the defence, minimal changes. I think Bender will stay. I think 2 of the back 3 will stay. And I think Brandon Cooper might get a run out. Maybe Bennett will drop because of his fitness stuff that we've mentioned in the past. And then it depends if Manning's back from his COVID isolation. He could come in. Otherwise, I would like to see maybe Jan Danda, Ollie Cooper, Whittaker, Kyle Joseph and Piroe. I don't know what order he brings them in and if all of them will start or not, but they're the ones that I think will have the biggest shout of starting. Yeah.
No, I think he does need, does need to give people chances, in all fairness. But just because he's trying to embed that style, I wouldn't like to see too many changes in the back 5 and the goalkeeper. But yeah, I think like Whittaker will probably come in just to give him a chance. But yeah, I'd like to see like the likes of Latibodia and Bennett. Probably not Bennett, like you said. His game time and Cabango to play again, have that game time trying to play that system.
Yeah. So it looks like Reading. We're talking about our squad being thin. Looks like they're in the same situation, if not worse. I believe they're in some sort of they can't bring players in. They got some sort of transfer embargo.
Are they Reading as well? Are they?
Yeah. So someone was tweeting to us the other day explaining how they can't sign players at the moment, which is unfortunate for them. I feel for them a little bit there. So I'm not sure. He said basically they're going to end up playing youth team. I've got their bench from the Stoke game in front of me here. They had 5 subs on the bench. That's never.
I think that's back to normal now, though, isn't it? Only 5 are allowed on the bench.
We had 7. Stoke got 7.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, what was there was another game that I watched then where someone had 5 on the bench.
I think 7 subs is normal for Championship now. I think maybe Premier League is only 5.
There was definitely another game that I watched on the weekend where they only had 5 subs, so they must have been thin as well, whoever that was.
I don't know, actually. Like, is all Football League now 7? I can't remember what the rules are anymore. Some leagues are 7, like that is the rules.
Yeah.
Obviously only allowed 3 to bring on. The whole, like, bringing players on is only 3 again.
Oh, yeah, that's still...
But I'm pretty sure you are allowed 7 subs. I'm sure that is the rule now, especially in Championship.
Yeah.
I think even in the Prem, I feel like it is 7 subs now. I think Champions League and stuff used to be 5. I don't know. I think we're getting confused because all the stuff that changed with COVID. It's like, who knows what's real anymore. Anyway, Reading could... I don't know how many changes they're going to make, but like they don't have many people to bring in, is the point. So whether they do then use first team or use it as a throwaway game and bring in youth, the fan I was talking to seems to think they will bring in a lot of youth. Yeah. So again, if that is the case, getting our rotation in, there's a chance to do that because both teams are going to be in similar situation.
Yeah.
But they sold their best player as well, didn't they? At least say so.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there'll be changes for both sides, won't there? Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's Reading. Do you want to make a prediction for that game?
Oh, it's hard one to call now because there's going to be changes, but I think let's go 2-0 Swans.
Ooh, confident. Who's
players coming in with a point to prove. Let's go Cullen and...
Oh, you think Cullen's going to play?
Yeah, I think he needs another run out to do. I think he needs a run out. Let's go Cullen and Whittaker.
Morgan Whittaker. Okay, I'm going to say 2-1 Swans, and I'm going to say... Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? It is hard. Because you don't know who's going to play. I think Whittaker as well, though. And I think maybe Kyle Joseph.
Nice. Take that.
Debut goal for Kyle Joseph. Let's move on. Let's go to Sheffield. So, if you're going to pick your full strength team now, because Sheffield, they've just come down. I know they lost to Birmingham, but you have to, like... Their team, I just think they got a good team, haven't they? From the stats, it looks like they did do better. Like they were the better team against Birmingham. They had 76% possession.
Yeah, Birmingham dropped way back in the end, and they were just sat back. But
smash and grab sort of job.
Yeah, Birmingham. No, I don't know. They did have a couple of chances though, as well, to make it 2-0.
4-4-2. They're playing.
You'd think with the firepower they've got, Brewster and McBurney came off the bench.
Yeah, well, they had Liss Mousset started with Oliver Burke up front.
I think Mousset is injured because he went off. He was pulled his hamstring, I think, so he'll probably be out.
And they've still got Billy Sharp knocking about as well.
And McGoldrick is still there, isn't he?
Yeah, he played on the left. According to SofaScore, maybe they did 3 up top and they've done it wrong. You've got Sander Burge still playing in midfield. Quality player there. John Fleck, John Egan at the back, Ramsdale in goals. It's quality across the pitch.
Didn't lose any, did they?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of. But yeah, so got a work cut out a little bit. Who's their manager now?
Jokanovic.
What sort of football does he play?
I can't really remember because he took Fulham up, didn't he? He took Fulham up 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And then he got sacked quite quickly. Was he manager of Middlesbrough as well? No, I'm thinking of Karanka. But Jokanovic was with
now
Fulham.
Watford as well.
Yeah, so I can't really remember, to be honest, what type of football he plays. But I think he's obviously a decent manager because he took Fulham up.
He did decent. He had a points per match of 1.89 at Watford and 1.56 at Fulham. Obviously, both 10 years, I believe, been across Championship and Premier League even for Watford.
Yeah, I think he tries to play good football, though, if I'm right.
And Fulham was Prem as well, wasn't it? Championship Prem.
Yeah.
So decent. I think obviously as soon as if you get that promotion, it probably skews your points per game a bit because you're going up to the Prem, you're going to be losing more games. So that's still decent points per matches if you did the season in the Championship before, and if you just include that based on the fact he's in the Championship now, then decent record. So it's going to be a tough game. It is at home. I'm sure everyone's excited about getting back into the Swansea.com stadium.
I can't wait. I absolutely cannot wait for Saturday to get back. 8 o'clock kickoff as well.
Is it
pub beforehand
on TV?
Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff on Sky it is, yeah, so pub beforehand.
Maybe we can go and record a podcast on the pub, yeah?
Yeah. If I can speak.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think can you see... It'd be easier to talk about this after the Reading game, so it's unfortunate that we're talking about it before the Reading game, but based on the Blackburn game, how do you see the game panning out?
I think we're going to see a bit more of the same. Just that still a bit of rustiness playing out from the back. I think it's going to suit them with the firepower they got up front. Can guarantee maybe, like if Mousset is injured, I think Brewster will likely start. So you can put your hat on a Brewster goal. I think you'll probably
coming off the bench.
They'll see what Blackburn did last week. They'll press us. We know Brewster is sharp. He's got pace.
I think both of them will react to being back here now. First game.
Yeah, they both get a good reception. I think when they Brewster, I think they're quite highly thought of.
Do you think they'd celebrate if they scored?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so
either. I think imagine McBurney celebrate. I think everyone would go mad.
Nah, he wouldn't. He'd love to come back, I think.
Yeah, I wish. Anyway, put your neck on the line then. Not much we can really talk about in terms of going into this game, other than what we've already discussed, so we just be repeating ourselves. What would you pick as your starting team, and what is the score going to be?
I think if Led is in by then, I would play him full back on the right, and I'd push Carl Norton into centre back instead of Latabodia.
So you'd have like Cabango and Bennett.
Cabango, Bennett and Norton, Led and probably Bidwell. Bender obviously, and then depending on who's fit, probably pretty much the same really. Probably be Grimes, Corey Smith and Patterson in the middle with Lowe and Cullen up front.
So unless someone has a worldie against Reading, the ones again in the team really.
Yeah, unless like Piroe plays on. Oh, we should put him to score actually. Should put Piroe to score.
Tough. I've wrote it down.
It's locked in. That would have been a good one, I think, if he comes back into the squad. But
what about
if he comes in,
then?
Plays one. You can probably kick me out of the call after this. I'm gonna say 3-1 Sheffield United.
3-1. It's a big result.
Unfortunately.
Who's going to score our goal?
Let's go with Grimes.
Interesting.
It's going to be his farewell goal.
I hope not. I hope you're wrong. I'm going to say we'll lose 1-0.
Clean sweep.
And I think that's not necessarily awful then.
No, well, it could work in two ways. The pressure's on them, isn't it? They lost the first game. You either get a big reaction, or
you did say one of these teams that comes down is going to have a really bad start, didn't you?
One of them will, and one of the managers will probably be sacked.
Maybe Sheffield.
Could be Sheffield. We'll see. I'd find. But the thing is, I'm not worried, but I think we've got Sheffield United at home, hard game, and then we've got Stoke. I think they recruited well, so we could realistically be sitting on 3 losses, but it won't be necessarily panic stations at that point. It's the way it is at the moment.
The same.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a good video. It's been just over an hour, I think, so I think it's a good place to end it there. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Any final words?
No, nothing from me. I just can't wait to get back to the stadium. It's a strange feeling going to go back. It's been like a year and a half now. Obviously I went to the playoff final, but it's not the same as going back up to the stadium. Because I haven't seen the people that I sit with since the last game, since COVID, so that'll be nice.
They'll still be there.
Yeah, I'm back to the...
You'll have some new neighbours in the stadium now.
Back to the pub beforehand. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, well, hopefully I'll be able to get down there. Otherwise, I'll be watching on the telly. I'll be looking for you in the crowd. We'll have to make some. If we do get down there, we'll have to do some TikToks or something.
Yeah.
Get you dancing at the bar. Not joking.
I will be dancing at the bar if we win.
Run with your top off, is it like?
Nobody wants to see that.
Anyway, on that note, if you are still here and watching, thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Helps us grow, helps promote us up to more people. Subscribe as well to make sure you don't miss any of our videos, and click on the bell to make sure you get notifications. You can find us on Spotify, again, SwansCast podcast. Download Fan Hub, join us on there. That's where we use to do all of our team predictions. You can check in at the stadiums. You get points for being a top fan, essentially, and you go into a league table against other fans. Our content is all on there, so you can watch it all on there, as well as some other creators that do Swansea City content. And you can also check into content from the team that you're going to be playing against, so you can check out the goings on with the opposition, see how they're faring, see what their fans are thinking as well. And yeah, I think Lee's slacking in terms of the Fan Hub League. You need to sort it out.
How do you get points? Because I had 9 out of the 11.
Yeah, but then you've got to watch content, so you get points for watching content. You check in at the stadium, or you can either check in at the stadium, which gets you a certain amount of points, or you check in to say you're watching it from home, and just stuff like that. Really, just get involved. Just be a fan. That's what it's all about. So if you want to get Fan Hub, download it. There should be codes we post on Twitter all the time to skip the queue. So we need to try and up the Swansea fan count on there, because there's also a league table for club bases, and Swans were 36th or something. So we want to get higher, basically.
Yeah.
We're still ahead of Cardiff, but we need to stay ahead of Cardiff. So get the app and get involved. And tweet us your team predictions as well when you do them every week. We like to see what everyone thinks. Other than that, all the links should be in the description below. Have a good day. Go on.
And before I forget, join our Super 6 League as well.
Oh yeah, it's not too late to join Super 6. Obviously, one round is gone. I did awful.
I had a horrendous start as well. Only 4 points.
Some people are on 15. I'm on 2. I'm great. Catch-up game is on already. Yeah, so join the Super 6 League. That's on Twitter as well. So if you want a code for that, just tweet us. We'll get it to you. If you do join, you haven't made an account. Being 1 week behind is not the end of the world. As I said, I've got 2 points, which is predicting one correct result, not even a score. So you can easily catch up with that. But if you have started playing, your points will carry over anyway, even if you win in the league. So there will be no issues with that. So just get involved. It's a bit of fun. We'll see how it goes, and maybe turn it into something bigger next season or something. I don't know. See what happens with it. But yeah, other than that, then, have a good week. Thanks for joining me, Lee. I shall see you in the next video.
No worries. See you soon.
Thanks all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to click the like button to help us grow. To keep up to date with all of our new uploads, hit the subscribe button and push the bell to ensure you are notified of all of our new videos. As always, engage in the comments and let us know your opinions on what we discussed today. And if you want to support us directly, check out our new merch, where you can find some awesome Swansea related t-shirts.